Hello once again, this is Uncle Jimmy with Jimmy's Train Station and Travel Adventures. Today I am in South Carolina, Charleston, and I'm at Magnolia Cemetery. And what I'm doing here is I'm visiting the crew of the CSS Hunley, Confederate submarine that went down in the Civil War. And all three crews are buried here, including the third crew, which was brought up with the submarine. Next we'll be going to visit that submarine that was brought up. And now we're here to pay our respects to the three crews that served on the Hunley. So follow me on this adventure as we go check out the CSS Hunley and their crew. Here we are in the Magnolia Cemetery here in Charleston, South Carolina, and this is the crew of the CSS Hunley, famous submarine. It says H.L. Hunley, here rest the three crews who died while serving on the H.L. Hunley. On the right rear are the five from the first sinking on August 29th, 1863. In the center are the 8 from the second sinking on October 15th, 1863. And on the far left are the 8 from the final voyage, February 17th, 1864. All were buried with full military honors on this plot donated by William Gilmore Simms. Now, even though it was a Confederate submarine, it wasn't CSS, it was actually H.L. Hunley, named after the Horace Hunley, who invented the submarine. And here we have Captain Horace L. Hunley. He was the captain of the crew, and he's also the gentleman who invented the submarine. It's the first crew. You got Frank Doyle, Michael Kane, Nicholas Davis, John Kelly. You have in memory of Thomas W. Park, Absalom Williams, and they are all the first crew of the H.L. Hunley. And right here's their monument. It says, here lies the first crew. The Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley died August 29th, 1863 near Fort Johnson on James Island, reinterred here on March 25th, 2000. And it names the 5 sailors I just named. Here in these little markers are the 8, including the 2 in the front of the second crew. And it says, here rests the crew of the Confederate submarine Hunley died on October 15, 1863 when making a practice dive in the harbor. And that was Horace L. Hunley, Robert Brockbank, Joseph Patterson, Thomas W. Park, Charles McHugh, Henry Beard, John Marshall, and Charles L. Sprague. And they were the second crew, which are buried here in the front and right here. Then you have the final crew, the third crew, which was brought up with the submarine when it was found in 2003, I believe it was 2004. It says here rests the third and final crew of the Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley, died February 17, 1864 after sinking the USS Housatonic, the first successful act of submarine warfare. Buried here April 17, 2004. And that was George E. Dixon, Arnold Becker, C. Lumpkin, Frank G. Collins, J.F. Carlson Miller, James A. Wicks, and Joseph F. Ridgway. A crew of 8, and here they lie. You got Joseph Ridgway, James A. Wicks, Private J. Miller, Corporal J.F. Carlson, Seaman Frank G. Collins, Quartermaster C. Lumpkin, Seaman Arnold Becker, and Lieutenant George E. Dixon. All died February 17th, 1864. So now, follow me on this adventure as we go actually to the conservatory to visit the little museum and the actual submarine. So follow me on this adventure, and may these men rest in peace, these great heroes of the Civil War. And here we are in the Charleston Harbor. We're at the Warren Lash Conservation Center. This is where they have the Hunley on display. You can also visit the information at www.hunley.org, Friends of the Hunley. And this is where they are doing preservation on the Hunley. They got it soaking in like a sodium water to preserve it. And the museum itself is within this building too, and things on display. So follow us on this adventure. Here is the Pioneer, helped start the age of the submarine. Prototype before the Hunley.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming out. Good morning.
My tickets came last night.
A little gift shop here.
Let me talk to everybody while they're waiting in line. This is a self-guided tour, so feel free to roam around. I'm going to give you the layout, but you can take this in any order that you want. In the front, we've got exhibits. Left side is the history of the Hunley. The other side is how we found it and raised it up off the ocean floor. If anybody needs restrooms while they're visiting with us,
So this is the history of it and how it all began. Here we have the whole idea and the builders that started it. McClintock and Watson were in the steam gauge manufacturing business in New Orleans and were known locally for their talent in engineering and design. Hunley was a successful businessman and public servant, serving as deputy collector of customs in New Orleans and as a state legislator for Louisiana. Here you can see a model of what it looked like. This is the torpedo that stuck out. It would stick into the wooden ship, and when the ship backed up, or the submarine backed up, it would release this ramrod here, and then it would be delayed and explode. And that was the whole concept. You had 2 entrances into the submarine, 2 hatches. Here it gives you an idea of how tight it really was. There was an 8-man crew. And here's a replica prop to show you how tight it was. Want to go in there, Forbes, and see how tight it was?
There's sitting space.
You can go in if you want.
There wasn't sitting space.
Could you imagine sitting in this under the ocean, Forbes?
Might get very hot.
The only light you would have is from these little portholes coming in from the sky that brought in light. And you'd sit there and you would turn that to rotate it. Right here, and it would turn.
Very heavy. Oh my god.
And that made it turn.
That's not how you do it. I learned from here. We're both stupid. No, it's from here. No, that's
They got a lock so you can't turn it, but that's how you would rotate it.
That's weird. Why would it be like that?
You just go like this. It's like a big paddle.
It's weird.
These little things here is the ports that we could get light through. So when you went underwater, you're in complete darkness.
Yay.
There's a little film here, and
Do you want you guys to be able to watch this video? I'm just having trouble setting it up.
okay. So they always speculate of what happened to the Hunley, and they think it was just simply too close to the Housatonic when the torpedo detonated, causing water to go in and they drowned, or they could have died from physical harm such as a concussion from the explosion, but they're not really quite sure. Most likely it was the concussion that killed the crew, and then they just sank to the bottom. My kids are in here demonstrating what it would have been like.
I'm not getting paid. Someone owes me $50.
So it shows what it was like. That would cause the crank to turn. There's a picture of when they brought it up and the ceremonies, the burial of the crew. You can see they buried them in like a tomb. So we'll go over here and look at some of the artifacts before we go actually see the Hunley. So follow me on this adventure. There's one of the wet diving suits when they were used, when they were bringing up the Hunley from the bottom. There's how they brought it up in a sling with the crew still on it. There's a video of it when they were bringing it in. Showing where all the artifacts were found, like the gold coin and the lantern and one of the shoes, button. There's a video showing it underwater, or before they put it in water, how they set it the same way they found it on its side. some of the artifacts they found. Found James Wick's bandana, an oil can, binoculars, a lantern, a candle. Found Lieutenant Dixon's watch and his coin, one of the shoes. And over here, they've done reconstruction of the skulls to show what the crew probably looked like. Again, there's the ceremony of when they buried them. And here's what they look like. This would be Joseph Ridgway. He was a quartermaster. He was from Maryland. Then this is James A. Wicks, senior quartermaster or bosun's mate. He's a bosun's mate. He was from North Carolina. I believe that's what he looked like. Then you have Miller, Truman Miller. Doesn't say where he was from. Then you had Corporal J.F. Carlson from South Carolina. He's a corporal. And they all got the Medal of Honor. Frank Collins, seaman. He was from Virginia. Then you have C. Lumpkin, crewman. Doesn't say where he's from. Had Arnold Becker, seaman, Navy, and don't say where he's from, Confederate Navy. Then you have Lieutenant George E. Dixon from Alabama, and he was the lieutenant. And they say he was probably pretty wealthy from the items they found that belonged to him. So follow us on this adventure as we travel on and look at some other artifacts and go see the actual Hunley. So this is these are actually the artifacts? I don't think so. Maybe replicas, but it might be the real artifacts because there's the ring, there's the coin. Maybe it is. See, the coin's bent from the bullet. So this belonged to all the Lieutenant Dixon, which shows he was pretty wealthy because look at that pendant, and that ring has diamonds in it.
And then I believe this one over here too.
And then here's how they found the oil can. It was encrusted like it. So I'm not sure if these are the real artifacts or they're further in.
This one just explains what each one is.
Right. So maybe that was the coin in the real thing.
It's possible.
All right, well, we'll continue on and see what we can see. Okay, up here is the actually brooch, the real brooch, and the ring of Dixon's jewelry, and the coin, the actual coin. So those were replicas, kids. These are the real items.
Oh wow, that's so cool when they found the artifact.
So there's the brooch, Dixon's ring, his pocket watch, and there's the coin. And as you can see, it was struck by a bullet, so it was his lucky coin. It's an 1860 gold dollar piece, and you see where the bullet hit. It wasn't so lucky on this journey, though.
Oh, that's amazing. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
See, it says, according to legend, a young woman gave Captain George Dixon a $20 gold coin when he left the war in 1861. During the Battle of Shiloh, Dixon was shot. The bullet struck the coin in his trousers pocket, absorbing the impact of the shot and sparing his life. and he had it with him and carried it to his death on the submarine. It's even engraved. It says Shiloh, April 6, 1862, my life preserver, GED, George Dixon. Here's a replica of the Lusitania.
Right, the concussion, right?
This is the actual wooden ship that sunk. And there's a replica of the 39 foot long, 4 foot wide torpedo with the Hunley. That's how long it was altogether. But there's the ramrod on the front of the Hunley. That's what the ramrod looked like. Couple more artifacts here. There's the keel. And this is the aft keel. That was the forward I just showed you. This is the aft. In 2004, there remains believed to rest at Charleston's Magnolia Cemetery. The intensive thousands of attendants. Here's some more artifacts. Binoculars. Some suspender pieces, a pocket knife, some coins, buttons.
Universal, you go to the Confederate, they don't matter.
So we can actually go up now and see the actual submarine preservation. There's a film showing and playing, talking about how they found it, how they're preserving it, how they buried the crew. They're getting ready to see the actual Hunley.
Serves as a protective screen from the conservation chemicals. While the Hunley
wow, here it is.
Hundreds of artifacts
start at the aft.
This unique collection includes military weapons, a gold pocket watch, a compass, and Union ID tag worn around the neck of one of the crew. Why the crew badge remains a mystery, and scientists are still discovering clues we hope will one day tell us
There's
why
one of the portholes.
disappeared.
Had two actual entrances.
Physical evidence
One entrance there and one down up at the forward of the ship.
Have answers.
And actually see the crank.
Such as these conning towers. The rear hatch was found still sealed and locked shut. If water was rushing in, the survival instinct would no doubt kick in, leading
amazing
to at
to
least
see
some
it.
of the crew frantically trying to escape, even if they knew they couldn't open the hatch due to water pressure. However, the forward hatch was discovered closed but not locked.
Hope you can see it, yeah.
The Captain Dixon left it unlocked to peer out while navigating on the surface, or so he could quickly
There's the two
replenish
ports
air
they're lining
in the
up.
compartment by opening it. In addition, on the forward conning tower, you can see that one viewport is completely missing, and in its place is a grapefruit-sized hole. Over the years, there have been no shortage of theories to explain the sub's demise. Some think the explosion of Lusitania also damaged the Hunley, making it impossible for her to return home. Another theory is that the crew intentionally submerged to sit on the ocean floor while waiting for a safe opportunity to return to shore. There, they
Pretty
either
amazing.
ran out of air or possibly got stuck, unable to rise to the surface again. Another theory is that the massive wake of the large Union ships that rushed to the scene to help the survivors of the Lusitania could have sent the small submarine tumbling down. What actually happened to prevent the crew from returning that night may never be known. However, it is known that on that night, as chaos erupted at sea level as the Lusitania sank, 8 brave crewmen sat in the cramped hull of the Hunley.
And I'll show it one more time once the light comes on so you can see the whole ship.
Candle.
Now that they have the lights on, I can show you the whole sub. I heard that they got it pretty much almost preserved to where they'll be able to bring it and drain the water and bring it up for display eventually. Pretty amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation and this blog of the HL Hunley. And if you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave comments and suggestions of other things you'd like to see in the future. Till then, go out and have your own adventures and enjoy life. And this has been Uncle Jimmy with Jimmy's Train Station and Travel Adventures. Till next time, goodbye.